Guys, Deluded, Guna, YouTube's and Golo Kante. Q&A day is Friday, so yeah, we might as well get into it. Let's crack on, let's not waste any more time. Thank you for the questions. So that was poor. Thank you for the questions. If I've missed you out, just get back in there and ask me them questions. I've tried to go over the comments and things like that. I've given you guys the speech before. I try very hard to make sure I don't miss you guys out, so it's not on purpose. If I have, don't feel offended. But yeah, let's crack on. Firstly, at JD asks, what do you think of Theo Walcott playing right back instead of Bellerin? Could Theo be like Young/Valencia at United? No, bro. Of course, yeah, you could draw inspirations because at a time Valencia it's a long time ago, but Valencia was a dynamic flying forward right winger. The same goes for Ashley Young. You couldn't picture them both being fullbacks. But obviously, as they've gone on, they've both reinvented themselves and mastered the role. But there's still incidences at times, especially in Valencia, where he shows his tendencies. As a right winger, is hard to die out. Sometimes he doesn't track his runner, but he is way more defensively minded. And even as a winger, he's way more defensively minded than Theo Walcott. The same, well, no, not really for Ashley Young. I suppose based on what Ashley Young's done and how he's managed to keep his United career going, you could say yes. But can I see it at Arsenal with Theo? Unfortunately, no. He's never shown the willingness to learn how to defend. He's improved defensively. Last season he looked a bit more motivated, but on a general basis, there's numerous examples of him being caught dribbling out of the back and getting caught for it. I'm pretty sure there was one against City. There was definitely one at United a few years ago when we was wearing the yellow kit. There's several incidences where Theo Walcott shies away defensively. Even in the Europa League, there was a game I can't even remember, but I said it in my post-game comments and I was vexed about it. He was leaving. He was telling the defensive work, the youngers, to do the defensive work. If there was more senior established players, they would have digged him out and things like that. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. I don't think that could happen, to be honest with you. So yeah. Karslan Dorji asks, what is your go-to karaoke song? That put me on the spot. I'd say Gigs/Dubs, The Pain Is the Essence, Vibes Cartel, Unstoppable, anything by James Brown, Frank Sinatra, 50 Cent Wankster, or what's the other song I could sing? If I Can't. Yeah, man, that would be it. I've probably got more. That was a good question, to be honest. I like questions like that away from football. Shout out to you, man. You've got another question. Does Jose Mourinho's inability to attack a top team and instead park the bus prove the game has moved on without him? For me, he needs to reinvent himself. I don't think Jose's ever had to really reinvent himself. I mean, of course, he's had to change things slightly. I'm pretty sure you could find differences between how he worked at Inter Milan, Chelsea, United, and Madrid. But he needs to reinvent himself. He's always, at all of them teams, one thing that stayed loosely, again, they've had different players, but is the whole defensive-minded, the whole 1-0, Jose gets to win, all these same principles. He needs to reinvent himself at United. If United were on top and top dogs like 10 years ago or so, he wouldn't have to, but he needs to. United are not where they want to be. They're getting left behind at City. They're not playing as great football as City. They spent arguably the same amount of money, I believe, and their side doesn't look any different. He needs to reinvent himself. He keeps letting down like you said, in big games. Some big games I can understand why. Like you let's be honest, you can't just go out and say we're gonna attack every big game. There's contexts and things like that you need to take into consideration, like the Liverpool result last season. But after watching you, man, versus who was it? Was it City? Yeah, it was City. I can't condone it. Like, you can't keep setting up in big games like that. Like, sure, you can say City, the counter-attack and all of these things. And all of these things are valued and you need to be aware of them. But have more of a go. He needs to reinvent himself in the sense that he needs to take what made him Jose and what made him a winner in the defensive-mindedness and marry it with the Manchester United principles that the fans want to see. Fast attacking football. Whether it's City or Arsenal or whatever, having a go against the big teams, which they actually did against Arsenal, the only one they want to have a go against. These sort of things there. Playing nice football, like I said, making Old Trafford scary again, because teams don't look scared to go to Old Trafford. And Old Trafford, back in the days, you watch on Sky Sports, you could see the tunnel. Certain players, their souls left them. And obviously, if you've done that, half the job is won before you've played a match, and then it's just down to you to be professional. So yeah, you could say the game's passed him by in that regard a tiny bit, but I personally think there's scope to reinvent himself, and he has to reinvent himself to have an actual career success at United. Yes, he's won trophies, but it's the second season at Manchester United, at Chelsea, and it's the second season. What did he go out and do in the seasons at other teams? What's he got out and done? He's not going to win the league title this year. Next year, it will be his third year at United. Typically, when you look at Jose, within a 3-year period at any club, he's won trophies, elite trophies. Yeah, they've got won Europa League and they've won the Community Shield, or what? Not Community Shield. The Carling Cup or whatever, but United want the Prems, they want the Champions League, and I'm pretty sure the most humble of fans, away from that, they want to see their team challenge and get to the later stages of the Champions League, be neck and neck with City. They want it to be a thing where not City are running away with all these points. Sure, United would love to be top, but the fans would love, okay, we're breathing down City's necks, they drop points, we're ready to take advantage. So hopefully that answers your question. At Truth884, why play Ozil deeper? Why play Ozil deeper? In the 4-3-3, I don't get the question, but I get it. This is in relation to when I said briefly in one of my other Q&As that Ozil could play deeper. Ironically, what did you see against West Ham in 4-3-3? Him playing slightly deeper, ahead of them. Obviously, you want him in the 10, but Ozil can pick it up and receive. And why I say there's scope for him to play deeper, you don't exclusively have to use Ozil as a 10, as an out-and-out 10. Yes, at Arsenal, because of our personnel, we don't utilise things. You've seen him for Germany and Arsenal when we played Munich, even in a couple games, come off the right-hand flank. You've seen him play 10, obviously excels at the 10. You see David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, and numerous, Mata to a degree at United, several other cams or attacking players have played deeper. If we just use David Silva as an example, David Silva, he was a cam. Obviously, he's getting on a bit, so he's had to readopt his game and stuff. We could add Santi to this. You look at David Silva, he's playing slightly deeper and he's still controlling, getting assists and goals, so Ozil could do that. There's a lot of ways we could use Ozil, and it's not just Ozil, several other players can be used in several other ways for different teams. I don't think we're cerebral enough, whether it's an example of just giving you, whether it's telling players, I don't know. I remember Jones being given a man marking job by Jose at United in a game, was it against Hazard a couple of years ago? We ain't going to go and do things like that. That's why we're a long way away from winning the league, unfortunately. So yeah. Mr. Will Greg asks, this guy always asks questions, my guy. What do you think is the reason down to why English teams never really go far in the Champions League? What are English teams lacking compared to PSG, Juventus, Munich, Madrid, Barcelona? Well, you've named there's world-class players in every side, to be honest, bar Juventus. Obviously, they've got world-class players, but it depends what you class as world-class. They ain't got if we're relating it to Madrid and Barcelona, they obviously don't have Messi and Ronaldo. I can't pinpoint exactly what it is, to be honest with you. You could say the traditional reasons, like there's not an international break and rest period in December. You could say several things. You could say the competitiveness of the Prem stretches sides, etc., etc. There's not really one specific reason. It's just I'd say it's a cocktail of everything. It's a cocktail of no international break. It's a cocktail of the competitiveness in the league. It's a cocktail of, I don't feel English sides, when it comes to different cultures and things, they're not adapt to play different ways. I mean, you obviously, they typically, let's say Sporting, for example, obviously every English team in the Champions League would be expected to beat Sporting, but how Sporting play is not how another team is going to play. How you going to get the result? How you get a result against Sporting isn't going to how you get a result against Napoli or Monaco and these things. All these European sides play some top football, regardless of if they have class players or not. And they typically have a goal. I don't feel English sides respect them enough. Like if we look at City versus Monaco, I feel City shot themselves in the foot a lot against Monaco last year, and that's why they went out. So yeah, the sides you've mentioned as well, apart from City, what side is as tactically disciplined as Juventus? Now PSG are a bit crap tactically, especially defensively, so they don't really help my example. But if you look at Barcelona to a degree, they're not the same, but there's loose principles. You look at Munich, you look at Juventus, these are all sides that are very strong off the ball and really got rigid and organised systems. Look at Juventus getting them 2 draws and a draw against Barcelona this year in the group stages. Apart from City, what side really looks that organised? You could say Spurs to a degree, tactical, well-drilled beast, and it's going to be a good tactical battle between Juventus and Spurs. But in comparison to your question, the European clubs are of a higher level in that regard to English clubs, and the ones that ain't, they've got world-class players to bail them out. So there's many different reasons, bro. And yeah, man, hopefully that answers your question. JJ asks, do you think Jenkinson's career would have been different should he decided to represent Finland? How do you think it would have affected his career? Well, if I'm honest, he probably chose Finland because he probably didn't think he'd have a top career. I mean, you saw he played for Arsenal, he got a cap, he jumped at the chance to go and play for England. He didn't say nah, Finland. So no disrespect to Finland, but I don't think he felt he was going to have a top career. Sadly, the same can go for Jamaica or some other countries. Many top English players, they're going to want to play for England first for numerous reasons, whether it's the corrupt people who govern Jamaican FA, whether it's more chances, decorated caps, whether they don't want to be doing the long haul flights all the time. They're going to pick England first, and then if they're not really wavy like that, they're going to pick Jamaica or any other country they're related to. Like you've seen numerous examples of that. So I'd say that he probably didn't think he'd have a decorated career, so he thought, let me go and do that. His career's obviously panned out for the better since he's joined Arsenal. He's got an England cap, and whatever way you look at that, when he retires, he's done his thing. It can go to big club bias is the reason he got the cap as well, because you look at Solanke at Liverpool. Has Solanke really done anything over the likes of Damari Gray, for example, or if we look at last season, Tom Davies to get England caps? No, he absolutely haven't. The difference is the club he plays for. I'm pretty sure Finland doesn't. Glenn Kamara, former Arsenal and Southend boy, play for an international for Finland. So shout out to him. I don't know why that came to my head, but yeah, man. I think if he stayed for Finland, I don't really think his career would have been affected that much. But he obviously backtracked on that and chose England after getting the Arsenal caps. I mean, look at Callum Chambers. Callum Chambers had a decent season when he got an England cap, but he didn't play that many games at the time. Instant call-up. So, yeah. Kubao asks, is Messi or Ronaldo? I love Cristiano Ronaldo, but Messi's the best ever footballer to kick a football. He's still not better than Ronaldinho, but he's the best footballer to have ever kicked a football. So, yeah, man. RH Starman, what do you think of Sergei Miljanovic-Savic of Lazio? I can't say his name, and I know I made an error of that. But he's a big boy in this thing, man. He's got height, he's got physique, and he don't really use it enough for me, in my opinion. But he's got the technical qualities to match you. He's destined for a big club. I would say Arsenal, but realistically, we're not going to get him. I got a lot of time for him. At Cream George answers, deluded. What do you think about everybody giving the Premier League to Manchester City and it's still only December? Do you agree with that? Well, bro, they're running away with it. Of course, mathematically, there's still, 30-odd games, 29, 30-odd more games to play in the Premier League. A lot can be said, and if they cock it up, it will be the biggest cock up in history, and City will have to slap themselves. But they've got Pep, who's already said, not by his own accord, that they're going to get complacent. They're running away with it. They look unstoppable. I do think Spurs might make them drop points or beat them. I really hope I'm wrong on that on Saturday. But yeah, man, like, they look unstoppable, and it's just down to, we need them to get a couple more injuries. We need them to get injuries, to get a loss of form. You need a lot for someone else to win that league title, to be honest with you. But it's only December, and there's a lot of football more to be played. It's mathematically possible, and City are very much in control of their own destiny at the moment, bro. So I do agree at this current moment in time, the league is City's to lose. Igal Ibrahim asks, do you play EPL fantasy football? Yes, I do, bro. Can you make a league for your subs next year? Yeah, I'll do that next year, man. I'll make a sub, man. You know what? Remind me in January. We'll start half season 1 in January. Yeah. Anyone that finishes ahead of me or is leading, you're gonna get kicked out of it. But yeah. You've got another question. What's your Arsenal all-time 11? Doesn't have to be based on who you watched. You can pick players before your time. Okay. That's a hard one, man. You put me on the spot, and I wish I sat down and thought about that. But in goal, I'm going to go with Pat Jennings, because I've never said him before. I'll go with Pat Jennings. Left back, I'll go with Sampson. Right back, Dixon. Centre half, Adams and Campbell. 4-3-3. Midfield, Vieira. Cesc Fabregas. They can't play together, but Cesc Fabregas, Vieira, Cesc, Mesut, Alexis on the right, Thierry through the middle, Perez on the right. Swap Alexis and Perez. That was a hard one, man. I know I'm missing people out. Ian Wright, Bergkamp, Brady, so much, man, are coming to my head. Rocastle, so much, man, are coming to my head. That's a great question, man. Do you know what? Them names I said after, add them all in, man. It's not 11. It's about 15 now. So, yeah. That answers everybody's questions. So, yeah, guys, thank you very much for the questions. It means a lot. Guys, Deluded Gooner, I'm signing out. Get in the comments and do the rest of it. I'm out.